to older tournaments. So, that is two different roles of ships. And we do have DPA and we do have the countdown.
So here we go, kicking off game one of the match in the semifinals between DPA and Eclipsis.
Oh yeah. Are you guys as excited as I am?
Yeah,
I'm
who's
excited.
thirsty?
I'm thirsty.
Whoa!
Thirsty for blood. We want to see back and forth. What are your predictions? I don't think we went there. Do we have time during this one short load screen?
I'm not sure. I'm thinking this. Well, in terms of the last tournament, DPA is composed of a lot of really the winners of the last tournament. So, although it's it's been reformed quite heavily and they have some newer players, I think that they certainly have what it takes to go to the end of a tournament. But
Eclipsis, a 50-minute
Eclipsis,
game here.
But Eclipsis, was Eclipsis in the last tournament though?
yeah, I don't know that Eclipsis was in the last tournament, and certainly Eclipsis has gone the way in a number of older tournaments. So really, I think it should be a very good matchup.
I think we'll see a 50-minute game here, maybe 60 minutes. Eclipsis victory.
All right. So in the bottom left, we have War Alistair on Carrier, opening Barrage, possibly going to be a mid-lane Carrier. Luigi looks like he's going up the side lane with Range Broods. QQQ going up the mid as an Overlord with Plague. Eddie going Range Missile in the mid as a BC. Shotpig going Feedback as a mid Arbiter. And Baggy Ice going side lane Dreadnought with Charges.
And in the top corner, from top to bottom, Singularity on the Destro, Lucky Devil on the Destroyer, Laptop Panda on the Colo, Ghost on the BC, Alpha on the Raven, and Nox on the Carrier. And this is exactly what we would like to see, a Carrier versus Carrier. May the best Carrier win. It's also worth noting that there are 3 tanks on the top comp.
Yeah, so 3 tank comp versus a 2 tank comp? Oh wait, no, that's not right. I'm sorry, it's a 3 tank comp versus a 1 tank comp. Very different late game strategies here, very different Carrier opens. Overall, this is some of the most different compositions we have seen in a matchup so far this tournament.
I just want to point out that War Alistair open Barrage. That's definitely something new that I'm seeing with the Carriers.
Yeah, he's been doing this a bunch of times this tournament, opening Barrage in the mid lane to give a little bit of extra push. Of course, I think in the other games they've played, they've had a tank in the mid, and in this game they don't have a tank in the mid, so it'll be interesting to see how well they're able to push in the early game.
Just by looking at this, I'm hoping they would put a tank in there in the middle to follow up with the Barrage, but yes,
They've only got only one tank.
Considering the difference in tanks here, it's almost surprising that DPA hasn't pushed even further than they have. Of course, the side lane is sort of susceptible with the Guardian going up against the Guard, but you'd think that the mid would push very hard in this situation.
It seems like they've been a little bit reluctant to push too far. They were happy to take the Cloud and hold it.
Yeah, I think everybody, just I guess from last night's experience, it's such a high-profile game that you can't afford to make mistakes, and you really don't want to play it too pushy or too close, because you make one false move and you're likely to lose the game. And so everybody's playing, as carefully as possible.
I do think it's interesting seeing the Dread with Charges versus the Dread versus Hull matchup again. So in this early encounter, Singularity with Hull is actually lower than Baggy Ice, and Baggy Ice now does also have the capacity to cut in and drop charges on ships in the middle. Looks like there's actually a push going on against Lucky Devil here. Lucky Devil now at 5,000, 4,000, holding at 4,000.
Yeah, he
looks like he's going to get out okay.
A lot of damage.
And that's really the difference, is that you'd think that the Hull should be able to win against charges in the opening. But a lot of the times, if you land the charges that you get off, you can actually win against the Hull Dread, and then as the side lane D, you can threaten to cut in and drop charges in the mid. So, what is really the optimal, what is the best Dreadnought opening has been an interesting question in terms of how different teams have answered that question.
Well, off of that push right there, DPA has had to go back and heal up. Eclipsis wins the push, gets a bunch of farm, and they're retreating now back to the mid cloud. They might go all the way back to base.
It's interesting how quickly they're retreating, though. They did not wait at all to see any of the ships come out. Just in the possibility of a warp trick. So before they have radar, they're not, not radar, scan. They're not taking any chances.
Absolutely not. So we do have Nox coming out with 13 ints and Plasma Surge, Lucky Devil, Bots 221, Laptop Panda 4-4, and I'll check in a second whether he has constant regen. Alpha with still the non-upgraded imp, but 400 energy, and then Singularity with charges, protective field, and bots with 325 energy, Ghost with scan.
Nox is going to be a bit of a concern here for Eclipsis. He's gotten a lot more farm than War Alistair on the carriers, and his interceptors are going to be doing a lot of damage.
And you kind of can expect that usually, right, when, a side lane carrier that opens 5 vents versus an inside carrier that opens barrage, you're starting kind of behind, and it's really hard to come out ahead.
Yeah, and Eclipsis is going to have to devote a lot of attention to that and a lot of resources into countering the ints, because War Alistair is going to take some time. Maybe he won't even be able to catch up at this point.
So, yeah, 3 interesting upgrade choices. QQQ getting Contaminate clearly to deal with the carrier. Shawpig with Storm, 500 energy. And Luigi with Corrosive Acid, all by the 7-minute mark.
This is true. Unconventional upgrades.
Well, Corrosive isn't that unconventional, but I think some teams tend to favor the Scourges at this stage of the game. The Storm is a little bit more distinctive, but in terms of dealing with carrier and pushing against 3 tanks in mid, it seems like a pretty reasonable upgrade path to me.
It's just you don't generally see it so early and with such little energy. Especially given the low utility, long cooldown on Contaminate. It's very hard.
Eclipsis is really struggling to push out here, and this is one of the challenges with dealing with a 3-tank composition, is that there's so much regeneration from DPA here that just really pushing out with them and having enough HP to really retake the cloud can be quite challenging. Let's go ahead and check now whether Laptop Panda did pick up his constant regeneration, and he does have Quantum Reactor.
And that's a good observation, actually, that they all do have bots, so they are regenerating on the field. The Colossus, his shields are going up, even as he's being shot. So he has Quantum Reactor. It's tough, and I think with 1 tank and also taking turns upgrading, ECL was trying to be sneaky and warp with base first and have some upgrades first and not others upgrade last. But if they catch you doing that, then you're not all coming out as a team. You're going to end up getting bottled in.
Yeah, and they put QQQ down on the bottom lane to get farmed up, and also with Contaminate to counter Nox's interceptors. And really what happened was he was unable to put any plagues on the middle ships, and the middle ships for DPA just didn't really get damaged at all. They're still very healthy.
Yeah, although actually the score it's not as far as it was. It's drifting toward 300 to 400 for actually right now we have a push on Singularity with the Corrosive Acid.
Oh, the Raven stalled Alpha.
The Raven stalled Alpha.
He is going to be in trouble.
Is at 4,000 life, 3,000 life, 2,900, 2,000 life, 1,500,
Good
1,000
by the 2 dreadnoughts.
500,
but now is a little
200,
into
and Alpha has
the
gone down.
competition.
The DPA Raven has gone down. Will Baggy Ice make it out? Will this be a clean kill, or will they lose their Dreadnought? Baggy Ice, E-shields pop. He is still taking damage. 500 shields. Baggy Ice goes down.
And another destroyer goes down.
Singularity dies.
Oh wow.
Eddie at 2,000 life. Laptop Panda, no shields left. 5,000 life. Ghost, 4,000 life. Barrage on Laptop Panda. Laptop Panda takes a storm. 200 life. Laptop Panda goes down.
And I think
Ghost
they're giving up this game.
gives up. And that looks like it's going to be the end of game 1 of Eclipsis and DPA.
What a
Well,
fast game. What a big turnaround, too.
Very
was-
distinctive turnaround.
Yeah, they were able to do a lot of damage very quickly. And DPA
Wow.
didn't really seem to be expecting that at all.
I'm speechless, guys. I think the stall on the Raven really kind of caused the whole team to fall behind and have to sacrifice. So Alpha with the GG here. Well, I guess we'll see what happens in the second round. It wasn't as much of a late game as we would have expected.
I think both teams were anticipating and prepared for a late game, but really in terms of the opening builds, we saw a lot of damage potential from ships that we don't normally associate with damage potential. The Carrier with the Barrage, the Arbiter with Storm, really. We want to be able to make a kill in the first 20 minutes while we're still playing toward the late game. I think that's what we see from ECL here. And they made it work against a 3-tank composition. And now we will be continuing on. Hopefully we will not spend too long in the next lobby, but I'm going to leave the stream up and allow our commentary to continue.
So ECL takes the first game. They're up 1-0 over DPA.
So do you think that DPA is going... I mean, is this a situation where... does DPA respond to this as Red Alert would? Say, okay, the Raven stalled. Our comp was basically right. We were in a fine position until this mistake occurred. Do we keep this the same or a similar composition and just try to play better this game? Or do we react heavily to this loss and change our composition?
Well, Crazy, I thought you were going to say, do we just get a Void Ray and finish the pro? That's what Red Alert would do, I know that.
Yes, Red Alert would run the Void Ray no matter what. But that's when you have a Void Ray specialist, right? I mean, you play to the strengths of your team.
Absolutely.
Looks like we are getting the lobby up from Eclipsis.
And Crazy, last night we were talking about
Wait a minute. This doesn't
how
look right.
Crazy, are
it's
you
the
gonna?
right.
I thought I was
good.
joining on an Eclipsis person, but I think Shaw Pig might have joined the wrong lobby.
Crazy, are you gonna cut the stream so that you can have a second part to like the games can be separated?
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the stream going so that there is the one continuous broadcast, and then I'm going to create highlights of each of the game from the stream so that there will be 2 or 3, depending on the number of games, separate videos as well.
Oh, okay. So it looks like the second lobby is not up yet.
Yes, do not fall into the trap of Shopeg. He is on Eclipsis, and he's in a party with Baggy Ice, Luigi, and QQQ, which is why I'm so confused right now.
Actually, he got invited to the pub as much as I did.